The next step in the setup process is to build our application or our app. To do that, we need to be in the Project My Site folder as we set it up in the previous lesson. And then we type Python manage py start app films, because we're going to build a application that replicates the film work we did back when we were working with web CGI programs. So hit enter. Process runs just for a moment. Then you might want to do a directory, and you should see a subdirectory created named films. So at this point, you're going to change into that films directory. And notice you have a few programs here. The first one we're going to deal with is models.py. A model allows us to set up the database definition for our application. So what we want to do is we want to open Notepad, navigate to the film subdirectory, click All Files, and models.py should show up. There it is. Delete the comment, and then we'll begin typing in our model. We're going to create a class called films. So we write that first. And then we create the fields and their field definition. So if you remember from previously, the first field was title. It's a character field. It was text. We'll call it char field for this example. And the max length will be 100. So that's our first field. The second field was year. It's also a char field. Max length of 4. And then finally director. Also a character field or char field. And we'll set its max length equal to 100 also. That's all we need to do for the model. So at this point we can exit the model. So we'll click exit and save. So now we need to go back up one directory, back to my site, although we could do this in Notepad as well. Open Notepad. Click All Files. In Settings, we need to modify settings.py again. And what we do is we have to add our model to a list of models right here under Installed Apps. We're going to leave these as they are. These are what the documentation calls common apps that lots of people work with. And we're going to add our own films to the list. So you type films in single quotes followed by a comma. Exit save. Let's clear the screen here. One more application to run. And this application is going to show us what the SQL for creating our application is going to look like. So type Python manage.py SQL films, hit enter. So we're going to have a create table statement. And then the last step is to actually execute that SQL by calling syncdb again, like so. Don't worry about no fixtures found, that's normal. And with that, we're complete, and that finishes this part of the setup. In the next lesson, we're going to continue with setup by looking at how the application programming interface for Django works, the API, and that'll give us a chance just to play around in the Python interactive shell with Django. So we'll see how to do that in the next lesson.